Hello everyone, day 68 here, Industrial Fabrication Company. It was a good day today. Didn't quite go as planned, but that's okay. We made the most of it. Essentially what went wrong is we were working on these screw augers. So we had them, all fit up on the turner here. And we went to put the flights on, so kind of the threads, let's call it. And they were not even close to the right size. When they're kind of somewhat difficult to measure without, working with them a bit. So we weld them down, kind of put some photos up, kind of showing how big the gaps are. But essentially they were not wrapped when they were made. They weren't made to 5-inch pipe, which actually has an OD of 5 9/16. It was made to a 5-inch OD. So then that caused everything to be wrong. The pitch was wrong. It's just not good. So we're getting those redone. They had to come out and they're grabbing them. So I had to pivot, but we're ready to go for when those come back. Fortunately from a timing perspective, it worked out that, the digital stops that we had ordered, and this is something that we saw, at the trade show, they came in today. So we started installing those. So here they are in the back. So we're going to kind of have a modular system where we can open up this gap if we need to for when a forklift comes in, so we don't bend that up. But these can just quickly move down and forward, and the stop can flip up and down. So we're working on that. They're working on getting it level right now. Right, the rollers weren't perfectly level. That wasn't an issue before, but now it's obvious. And previously we had these rollers. You can kind of see where they were on the before photo, but we can't have that now. But we're wanting to still keep that functionality, to keep the equipment we have here safe. So what we realized is we have rollers that look like that we can get and we can install and make them just easily removable along here. So if we need to measure something short, we can just quickly pop them out and measure in there, so that we're not causing any damage and keeping the equipment safe. Michelle got a bunch more old paperwork thrown out. I was going through some tutorials on how to use Notion, which is software we're using better, and definitely have a better understanding of how we can use that and have it improve how we are tracking our projects and managing how, who's working on what, when are things coming in, making sure we're not missing things. Scott essentially has a ton of knowledge on how to do these things, and it kind of knows what to do. He's done it enough times. Dan, Andrew, and myself do not. So how do we make sure we don't miss those things, get them written down, get them standardized, because if we don't have a standard, we're going to miss it. So I was working on that. And I guess kind of speaking of standard, and I was talking about the pipe, I think we'll have a good discussion tomorrow in our morning meeting, about the amount of waste that has been caused, I can only guess, by essentially the improper naming of pipe sizes, at least in the US. I don't know if globally it's the same issue, but that a 5-inch pipe is not actually 5 inches in diameter, and that actually a 4.5-inch pipe is 5 inches in diameter. How many issues has that caused? With us, that's us doing a couple hours of work this morning before finding it out. Someone's having to drive back up here, drive it back, rework it, drive it, and then out here again. All that time we're waiting. That's waste. That's just on this project. There's also then all of the time that's spent just clarifying. Any time that we write in our quotes, we say 5-inch pipe, OD 5 9/16. So it's extra writing that we're having to do every time just because the standard was created poorly. We'll have a good discussion there. And, I don't really know what you do to fix that, but it's definitely something to be cognizant of as we create our own standards. How do we make sure we don't create standards that can actually make things worse? I think that's all for today. Sign off for now.